I know that some of you may be assessing your future based on your current circumstances. I'm going to show you why you should never do this, okay? Well, except, of course, if your current situation aligns with where you're hoping to go, okay? So today we will be talking about visualization and how this is a powerful strategy for creating a more joyful and more successful life. Now, when I say visualization, I'm referring to the practice of imagining what it is that you want and beginning to think about it, beginning to live it like it has already occurred. Okay. Now, this is not just wishful thinking or some mystical woo situation here. Okay. This is actually a practice that has been utilized by different people in various parts of the world for centuries. And some people use it in the form of meditation, others use it in the form of prayers, but it's been used for a long time. It's where people start to really engage all their senses, not just, thinking about something and hoping that it happens. And so what do I mean when I say engage all your senses? It means that you begin to actually see it. You see what it is you're hoping for. You start to actually feel like you hear it, right? So for example, if you're a student and you're going through your classes and it's difficult, but you start to actually see your graduation day, you start to actually feel like you hear the people chanting for you when they call your name to come walk up the stage. You start to feel it. You start to hear it, and that feeling helps you, it pushes you, it propels you towards studying harder and dealing with whatever challenges you're facing at that moment. And so that's exactly what visualization does. It allows you to really put yourself in that situation, that future desired outcome, so that you can take the steps necessary today to start to move towards your outcome. Okay. So now I've been utilizing visualization for several years. As a matter of fact, I would tell you that my current life is a representation of things I used to visualize years and years ago. Okay. I've been doing this, and the ladies that I work with have also been utilizing this strategy and getting great results. And so I'm going to really invite you to start to visualize your life and to start making decisions based on what is currently available to you. Okay. And I'm going to just share a quick story about a man that I met. This gentleman, this was about 20 years ago. He had relocated from Nigeria to the United States. And so he was just complaining to me about how he had been applying. He had done all this work but hadn't been called for even one interview. And so he was just frustrated by that. Okay. Just for context, he went to school in Nigeria. He did a degree, I think a banking degree. And so his degree was not recognized here in the United States. I didn't even recognize the university that he went to. And so I should have recognized it, right? Because although I was born here in the United States, I was mostly raised in Nigeria. And so I felt like if I don't even know this university, how are these people in the state where we were at the time, how are they going to recognize your degree? They're definitely not going to see it as a credible document. And so I asked him if he had considered probably getting a certification here in the United States or even going back to undergrad. He was young. And so he could have just gone to maybe community college and then transferred to another university to be able to graduate. And because I knew, and I communicated that to him, that once you graduated with a finance degree from an American university, your trajectory would be different. You would get jobs. Okay. But immediately I told him this, he started with the excuses. Oh, I don't have this money to go to university. I only have this amount of money in my account. And all of these things. And I told him, well, you do know that there are grants that are given to people in undergrad. So free money, you don't have to pay it back. There are scholarships that you can benefit from. And of course, there are even student loans. If you even had to go that route, you would, if you go to a community college, it'd be so cheap that you could pay it back in 1 month of starting to work. He was not ready for that. So after a while of sitting down and realizing that, I'm like, why am I sitting here trying to convince this grown man about, his own future? And so, of course, I didn't do that anymore. So a few years later, maybe like 5 years after that, I saw him. He still hadn't gone to school. He was just doing whatever he was doing. Okay. I thought about how his life would have been different if he had been able to have this limitless mindset, if he was able to see beyond what was currently in front of him, if he was able to see beyond his bank account and know that he didn't need to necessarily see how all his education was going to be funded before he took that step to get that education. Okay. And I know this because when I returned to the US, when I relocated from Nigeria back to the United States, I did not come here with a truckload of money. But what I came with, though, was a vision and a goal. I knew that I was going to get my degrees. I was going to get my bachelor's degree. I was going to get my master's degree, and I was going to get my doctorate degree. And the reason I wanted this, though, was because I knew that it was going to position me to get the quality of life that I wanted. It was going to give me the financial freedom I needed. It was going to give me the skills and the competencies to be able to create the kind of life that I wanted. And so, although I did not know how everything was going to be funded, I did not need to know how exactly it was going to be funded. I just needed to visualize the outcome. And what that would do was it motivated me to start to take the little steps. And so, eventually, I was able to accomplish that goal. I was able to get my bachelor's degree from University of Utah in Salt Lake City, Utah. I was able to get my master's degree, my first master's degree from George Washington University in Washington, D.C. And then I was able to get my second master's degree from New York University in New York City. And of course, my doctorate degree from University of Texas. Okay. And I'm not saying all of that to brag or to just say it. I'm saying that to show that I did not have to see a way to get it all accomplished. All I needed to know was I needed to work hard. I was able to use grants. I was able to get several scholarships by working hard and just excelling in school, right? And because of that, taking those steps, but because I visualized the outcome, that motivated me to do all of that. And I was able to get that. And so that's something that I really want you all to remember is that just because you don't have money in your bank account today does not mean you're not going to be able to live in that beautiful neighborhood. Okay. Just because you're maybe feeling lonely today or you just got out of a bad relationship, that does not mean that you're not going to be able to be in a fulfilling relationship later on. Okay. Just because you're struggling right now, maybe you're not feeling well, just because you're not where you want to be, that does not mean that your future will not be brighter. So I need us to remember that and not have this limited perception of life. Okay, so we want a growth mindset. We want a limitless mindset so that we can see the possibilities. I mean, think about it. When you are climbing up the stairs, you don't need to see the full staircase before you climb up, right? You just need to see a few of the steps and you climb on those and trust that as you're going higher, that it is going to open up to a floor that is going to be the space that you're trying to get to in the building. That's how life works. Okay. You don't need to see how everything is going to happen. You just need to visualize the outcome. Okay. You just need to think about what it is that you want and just start to really think about it, feel it, see it. And in the end, it will happen for you. Okay. I know this because it has happened for me and it's happened for several other people. Okay. And so this week, I want to invite you to do three things. The first thing is to think about something that you've always wanted to do. Okay. And then find out the steps necessary to achieve that goal. Okay. And then number three, I want you to take a step, just one step towards that goal. Okay. So think about something you wanted to do, find out the steps necessary to get that done, and then do it. Just take a step towards it. Okay. And I do invite you to definitely celebrate your wins. I do this all the time. I celebrate in public or in private. You always want to celebrate your wins, the small ones, the big ones, because what that does is it motivates you to do more. And that takes you on that trajectory towards your desired outcome. Okay. So stay optimistic. The best is yet to come. Have a wonderful one. Bye.